Okay, so in the world of software development, something huge is happening. We are witnessing a massive shift, and it's all about the lightning fast evolution of AI coding tools. We're going from simple helpers to, well, something much, much more.
And just how big is this shift? This one number pretty much tells the whole story. 76%. A recent study found that 76% of developers are already using AI tools or plan to. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't some future prediction. This is the reality on the ground right now.
This crazy fast adoption naturally brings up the one big question that's on everybody's mind. Are these tools a threat to a developer's job, or are they just the next logical step in how we work? And that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
To really get a handle on where we're going, we've got to look back at where this all started. And it all began with a really simple but incredibly powerful idea, the AI pair programmer. This was the thing that brought AI right into our editors, into our daily workflow.
And the tool that really kicked this whole revolution off? GitHub Copilot, which was first announced way back in June 2021. In its original form, it was basically autocomplete on steroids. You'd write a comment, something like, calculate factorial, and boom, Copilot would just spit out the entire function for you. It was really our first glimpse of AI as a genuine coding partner.
And what's really interesting is that this immediately kicked up a huge debate. GitHub's position was that training their system on all this public code was fair use. But almost immediately, a class action lawsuit challenged them, claiming it actually infringes on copyrights and open source licenses. It put this whole amazing new technology on some pretty shaky legal ground right from the start.
So where did things go from there? Well, after that first wave of just, simple text prediction, the tools started to get a lot smarter. They moved beyond just guessing the next line of code and started to actually understand the code structure, how everything was connected. And this led to two pretty different philosophies. On one hand, you had tools like Cursor, which is actually a modified version, a fork of VS Code, designed to give power users absolute maximum control. And on the other hand, you have something like JetBrains AI, which works as a plugin. Its whole thing is leveraging the IDE's deep understanding of your code's abstract syntax tree, or AST. You can kind of think of an AST as a family tree for your code. It knows exactly how every piece relates to every other piece, and that gives the AI way, way richer context.
So if we dive into Cursor for a second, you can really see how it's built for developers who want that fine-grained control. It has this composer mode where you can tell the AI, hey, only touch these specific files. You can use a .cursor rules file to enforce your team's coding style across the entire project. It's all about giving the developer precise command over what the AI is doing. Now, JetBrains takes a totally different approach. It acts more like a smart orchestrator. Because it's so deeply baked into the IDE, its chat doesn't just see the file you have open, it understands your entire project. It's also got this multi-model strategy, which means it can pick the best AI for whatever you're trying to do. And this is a big one for businesses. It supports local models, so your code never has to leave your company's firewall. And all of that brings us to the latest and honestly the most game-changing stage in this whole evolution, the rise of AI agents. We're not just talking about assistants anymore. These are systems designed to tackle complex, multi-step problems all by themselves.
So what exactly is an AI agent? Well, it's an autonomous system that goes way beyond just a simple question and answer. You give it a high-level goal, and it creates its own plan, executes commands, and works through the entire problem from start to finish, all without you needing to hold its hand every step of the way. This is that huge shift from a helper that suggests to a partner that actually executes. Let me show you how this works in the real world. Let's take the new Visual Studio Copilot Profiler agent. You tell it to optimize your codebase. So what does it do? It lays out its own plan. First, it runs a benchmark to get a baseline. Then it analyzes the results to find the slow spots. After that, it actually proposes and implements a fix. And finally, this is the cool part, it reruns the benchmark to prove that its change actually worked. And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. In this real-world example, the agent took a process that was running at 200 milliseconds and, completely on its own, brought it down to 168 milliseconds. That is a 17% performance improvement, all done by the agent handling the tedious work. And it's not just about performance tuning. The new GitHub Copilot testing feature for .NET is a full-blown testing agent. It can generate unit tests, run them, find any failures, and then
Get this, it will even try to fix the broken tests on its own. We're talking about automating a huge chunk of the development lifecycle here.
Okay, so let's circle back to that big question we started with. With these incredibly powerful agents coming on the scene, what happens to the developer? Well, the consensus seems pretty clear. The role isn't disappearing, it's elevating. It's a shift from being the one laying the bricks to being the one designing the entire building.
There's a quote from our source material that just nails it. AI is absolutely phenomenal at handling isolated, specific tasks. It can optimize a loop or write a unit test better than anyone. But what it lacks is that big picture strategic understanding, the business context, the system architecture, all the subtle trade-offs that developers deal with every single day. And that's where the human is still absolutely essential. So by offloading all that repetitive coding to our AI partners, we as developers are freed up to focus on the truly hard problems. We're talking about architecting resilient systems, not just writing functions. It means spending more time at the whiteboard, mapping out complex user flows, instead of debugging boilerplate code. It's about making those big strategic decisions and, maybe most importantly, becoming an expert at guiding and directing these incredibly powerful AI tools. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. The conversation isn't about if we should use AI anymore. That ship has definitely sailed. The real conversation now is about how we partner with these tools. As AI gets better and better at mastering the code itself, the real question becomes, what will you, the architect, decide to build?